Hello and welcome to Coffee with Dr. Carla. I'm Dr. Carla. This is Colleen, and we're glad that you're here today. Our goal is to talk about some mental health related issues and hopefully do away with the stigma surrounding them. So we were talking before about priorities and how do you determine what is a priority and what is not, especially when perhaps there are 2 or 3 different things that could reasonably be in the number 1 spot.
Yeah.
And so, and then also the idea that some of us struggle with even figuring out priorities because everything seems to be a priority. So
Yes.
there's a couple dynamics at play here. So when you're working with clients, like how do you lead them through the process of figuring out what their priority is?
Sure. Very often, the first thing I'll get when I'm talking to a client, the first thing they'll ask is, I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
And I tell them that's okay. I do know where to start. But here's the thing, and I tell them this as well, it's not up to me. So what I do is I guide them through the process. Because we all know we have to start somewhere.
Right.
But when it's all or nothing, it's either now or never. I mean, all of that kind of that kind of language that is so separate. So very often we'll talk through without judgment or editing, what's the list?
Right.
So if we're talking about decluttering our homes, what are the different rooms that we want to conquer? What are the different projects we want to tackle? And so we just, again, without editing, we make the list. And then we look at what project is going to help you the most or the quickest. Or, depending on the time of year, if you want to organize your kitchen or your office or your garage, depending on the time of year, garage might come to the top of the list because it's going to be cold soon and we want to be able to park our car inside. Or maybe priority-wise, if it's, again, kitchen or, garage or office, and you just got a diagnosis from your doctor and they said, you really need to cut back on sodium. So I'm going to need to change how I do things in the kitchen. Maybe I need to spend some quality time in the kitchen because that's going to impact everything else.
Right.
It's gonna help my health. It's gonna help my, I want to take on healthier habits, and so getting my kitchen squared away is gonna help me and my family or whomever who lives with me to do that as well. So we kind of look at what the list is without judgment or editing, and then what's gonna help this person or this family the most. And so, we've only got so many hours in a day. So if we've only got an hour to dedicate to organizing today, what would be the biggest impact? What's going to help, everybody the most? What's going to help move people along? So that's the kind of conversation we can have when it comes to, prioritizing, organizing projects.
Yeah. It reminds me of when I used to consult in schools and the teacher would say, I'm having trouble with this kid. I'm like, okay, what's going on? And there's this massive laundry list of
course,
all legit things. And, I'd say, okay, if we could change this one thing, if only one thing could be changed, what would you change?
Sure.
And 98% of the time they'd say, if he would just stay in his seat, I don't care what else he does, right?
Yeah.
Which sounds like, okay. But, when the list is he's running out of the room, he's hitting other kids, he's pushing things off the table, things to that nature. He's jumping off the counters. If he stayed in his seat, he can't do any of those other things.
It's true.
Right. So I can imagine that much in the same way. Like if we went after the one thing, right, it probably would have a domino effect and change so many other areas that were problematic as well.
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
And to me, that would be really rewarding to be able to see, like, oh my gosh, I did this one little thing and look at how far.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so many things we had talked about too in the time between the priorities, and that sometimes our clutter isn't just physical clutter, physical space. So very often my clients they'll say that they want to work on a physical space in their home, and I absolutely get that, but with a little bit more questioning, with a little bit more conversation, they also realize, oh, I want to work on my office, but what I really want to work on is my workflow.
Right.
I want to work on my kitchen, but what I really want to establish is healthier habits for my morning routine. Or I really want to organize my bedroom, but what I really want is a good night's sleep.
Right.
So again, that richer conversation that I can have with my clients with coaching, we can absolutely address that physical space, but very often there's more going on. So with your student example, obviously there's a lot going on with that guy, right? That little guy, he's got a lot going on. And so, we can't solve every problem every time, and maybe it's all the same root.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
what are some of the strategies that you have priority-wise, what's most important? I want to get a good night's sleep. So then obviously we're going to want to start in the bedroom. Obviously we're going to probably want to get the bed cleared off or things to that nature. And to me, those feel a little bit more obvious. But what if the priorities really are two very important things that are competing for that client's attention or that time? How do you help them differentiate? Because you can't go here and be here at the same time. Or at least I haven't figured that one out yet.
No.
Yeah.
That'd be great. That'd be awesome if we could. So very often my appointments, if I'm in home, are usually 2 to 3 hours. And so if there really are two very specific spaces or projects that we want to tackle, we could even set a timer. We could do a little bit in one area and a little bit in the other. We could, kind of separate our time. We could talk through both for maybe a half an hour before we get down to it and plot out what the next steps are in both of those areas. So again, using the example that we said bedroom, we said kitchen. So, if somebody wants to make gains in both of those spaces, maybe a really good opportunity would be to just talk through both of those paths, so they know what their next steps are, whether I'm there or not.
Right.
So yes, I can make progress in this area and that area, but I think I need more hand-holding, metaphorically, metaphysically, whatever that would be, in this area versus this area. So, I can kind of see my path clearly in the kitchen. I need to go through my cabinets and get rid of the, sodium added things and, clean off my counter so I can make a dinner easier this evening. Those are pretty straightforward.
Sure.
But making decisions on my clothes and my stuff in my bedroom,
maybe not as easy.
That's a little tougher. So do you mind coming in and helping me with that decision making? Right.
Yeah.
So I let them choose. It's not up to me. The agenda is always my client's agenda. And so, identifying awareness, identifying what the challenges are, letting them, but that also models good decision making and prioritizing for them.
Right.
It's building that skill.
Right.
So next time when they have to choose between two, they can hopefully do that for themselves and, weigh their options and know that this one's going to be a better option for them. So.
Yeah. It sounds so easy when we talk about it, but it's always far more difficult or complex.
Of course.
And so hopefully people aren't beating themselves up over this stuff because it's so hard. So I love the fact that you emphasized several times that this is really a non-judgmental process.
Of course.
So remember, you can change your thoughts, discover your potential, and transform your life by focusing on your overall well-being. So until next time, keep being the best you possible. Bye.